Chicago's outer belt, affectionately known as the J, is down to 1 train a day, excluding an occasional unit coal train for Commonwealth Edison in Waukegan. Train number 9 comes north, or timetable westbound, out of Joliet, interchanging with other roads along the way until they reach the end of the line in Waukegan. By the time they reach Rondout, a westbound J is actually traveling east. After they've rested, the crew will work back to Joliet as number 10, doing more interchange work. Dual-controlled SD38s and SD38-2s are their usual power, along with an occasional switcher for Waukegan. The J and the Soo still have a healthy interchange business at Rondout. The hot commodity is coil steel, which Soo Line train number 243 hauls north to A.O. Smith in north suburban Milwaukee. A.O. makes automobile and truck frames for General Motors, frames that the Soo hauls south. "50-car cuts of coil gonds are not uncommon here. The J also has a major online customer in Rondout. The construction firm of Peter Baker and Son can get up to 16 cars of gravel a day. The gravel, like the steel, is originated by the J, making Rondout quite profitable for them. Until 1988, the EJ&E, like the Bessemer and Lake Erie, and the Duluth, Mesabi, and Iron Range, was owned by U.S. Steel. Power is sometimes exchanged between the steel roads. The Soo Line handled 2 DM and IR SD9s from Superior, Wisconsin to the J interchange at Rondout. The next morning, number 10 worked the Mesabi units to Joliet. The interlocking limits at Rondout are controlled by the tower operator. North of Rondout, the C&M is CTC controlled by dispatchers in Chicago. In early 1980s, the Milwaukee used federal funds to rehab its main line to the south. In the process, the CTC was extended 23 miles south to Mayfair Crossing on the Windy City's northwest side. Most Soo freights use the former Milwaukee Road trackage rights on the CNW's joint line, leaving Milwaukee rails 12.5 miles south of Rondout at Tower 820, just north of Glenview, Illinois. They use the joint line to reach the west end of Bensonville Yard near O'Hare International Airport. However, the sprints and any train going to the Belt Railway of Chicago will continue south on the former Milwaukee Road into the city and Tower A5. From there, they'll head west, arriving at the east end of Bensonville Yard. When the CTC was extended, 820 was closed and torn down, and a searchlight signal was added to the Rondout Train Order Board governing eastward Milwaukee Road trains operating by the Northwestern. The change keeps happening. As of May 15th, 1984, commuter trains no longer stop here. The J removed their siding and half of Rondout's diamonds on September 14, 1986. And on February 8, 1985, the Soo-Milwaukee system was a reality. After the dust settled, the Soo began moving trains off its old main and onto the better Milwaukee Iron. They also started adding new trains. First was a sprint from Bensonville to Milwaukee and back. Number 215 and 214, the new trains operated as a turn. Due to the train's tight schedule, the unit is not turned in the Beer City, so they run Longhood forward for half of the trip. Initially, the train averaged a half a dozen cars, but that too has changed. Soon after the Milwaukee sprints came 218 and 219, the Green Bay sprints. But the most unexpected change came in early 1987 when the Soo created its Lake States Transportation Division. Lake States was comprised of virtually all the pre-Milwaukee Soo Line in Illinois, Wisconsin, and Michigan's Upper Peninsula, plus a couple of light-density ex-Milwaukee branches in Wisconsin. Lake States was basically the Soo Line's cast-offs. Except for the two Minneapolis, Northfield, and Southern SD39s and some leased ex-Conrail GP38s, motive power for Lake States was the Soo's cast-offs as well. History has a strange way of repeating itself. Years ago, the Milwaukee had quite a roster of GP9s, GP30s on Elko trucks, and GP35s. Once again, Jeeps returned to Rondout. Thanks to Lake States, you could go back, for a while at least. Somehow from the start, Lake States was destined to be short-lived. October 11, 1987 marked the end of Lake States and the beginning of the Wisconsin Central, the largest of the nation's new regional railroads. With the WC went the Jeeps, but the Soo wasn't done yet. They renumbered their ex-KCS SD40s starting at 6400. They also picked up some interesting SDs on the used locomotive market. Units like Helm Leasing's ex-Illinois Central SD40As, and Morrison Knutson 7500, an SD40 from the Chessie system. Ex-BN units include SD40B number 6450, formerly BN 7600, and at least two SD45s, 6491 and 6492. Adding to the excitement is the second order for 21 new SD60s. Also, the retrofitting of all the original Soo SD40-2s with dynamic brakes.